Good evening, boys and girls. Glad you guys can make it to our late night top secret space, hosted by our generous benefactor alternate Adrian. My co-host Chat Band is in the house. Glad to see everybody here tonight. We have a special guest that just I saw popped in. Uh, Lord Miles is here, and we're going to get to talking to Lord Miles here in just a minute. But if you would please, Chat Band with the announcement.
Welcome to the rice field, motherfuckers! It's time to repost the motherfucking space! Fuck yeah! Woo!
Yeah, so if you couldn't understand our resident troll, he would like for you to please repost a space. If you go up to the top in the right-hand corner, you can repost a space, post a space, and just say something cool like "get in here" or whatever you need to do. We're going to have a big night tonight. Glad to have Lord Miles here. How you doing tonight, Lord?
You know, quite good, quite good. It's 10 a.m. for me where I am. Things are quite well. What about you, man?
Yeah, everything's great. We've had a good day here in Florida, and just looking forward to this space and this time we share together here tonight. It's almost a nightly thing for us. I know you had some electrical issues last night, but we're glad you were able to make it tonight.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Welcome, Lord Miles.
I listened back to the podcast from yesterday, the space from yesterday.
How was it?
I heard everything. It was quite good.
Did we put on a good show or no? What do you think?
It was only 40 minutes long. I wish it was longer, like the space before it. That was like 2 hours, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, we have a troll that's still recovering from his trip to Mexico. He went to Mexico this week and got rugged on tequila for about 5 days, and so Chat Band's still recovering, but we're hanging in there. We're hanging in, hanging out, hanging loose. We had a short space last night. It wasn't Chat Band's fault actually. It just kind of got dry, and whenever it gets dry, alternate is going to rug us immediately.
Yeah, we can't get aboard. Oh no, did I rug?
No, you didn't. You were breaking up though, and we didn't hear what the last thing you said.
Oh man, am I not? Is it working now? Am I good?
Yeah, you're good, buddy.
Okay, good. Thank God. I just didn't know if I rugged or not. That was pretty much it.
Hey, Lord Miles, if you have somebody down in the listeners that you'd like to bring up, you're welcome to just let us know, and I'll try to get them up as soon as I can.
Yeah, sure. I've got some in-person guests in my location. If you want to hear them, they don't speak too much English, but you know they can say hi.
Yeah, let's talk to them.
Yeah, sure. Let me go into the other room. So this, very good. This is a member of the Taliban. Hello. Say hello. Hello.
Hello.
Little
Hello, Sunday.
Hello.
Good. Banana. That's so cool. So you just the Taliban were very confused. They don't have too many spaces. They're kind of napping in the morning. No, it's actually morning people, but those are some Taliban guards in the next room.
Nice,
so I gotta ask you, like, as a Southern American, when I think Taliban, man, I think the guys that we fought a war against for 2 decades almost. Are these like the same people?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Did you say yes?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the real Taliban we just spoke to.
As you do. They're chill dudes, though. The guy I know, he's called Dr. Bashir. That's his kind of code name. He's head of their foreign intelligence department, so it's called the GDI. And basically, his story is he noticed when the US left, there was tons of ISIS in a area called Nigrahar or Jalalabad. And so what he did was he gathered all the ISIS members together at night in a remote river. And then he lined them up and said, "Hey, are you ISIS?" And the guy said, "Yes." And they shot him. and then pushed them in the river. And when he went through each person, asking them if they're ISIS or not, and the ones who said they weren't, he was like, okay, we're going to send you to jail for life then until you admit it, because we know you are, we got the evidence, whatever. And then in the morning, the Taliban, who didn't know about the operation, and the national police and the civilians woke up to see their river covered in like 200 bodies. And they called this guy, they called Dr. Bashir, and they say, oh, we found like this mass killing, but we checked their pockets and we found evidence they were ISIS members. Whoa. And then Dr. Bashir said, yes, they must have killed themselves out for shame for being ISIS. Oh, it looks like the problem solved itself. And so he's a legend, basically. So I think he's a pretty good guy for what he's done.
Yeah, I know we had some issues with ISIS several years back, beheading and torturing Christians. So,
yeah, not good.
Yeah, they're not good people.
Well, my goal was to turn is into was.
Yeah, how's that going?
But well, actually pretty good. So ISK, they put a fatwa against me, which is basically a holy order to kill me, which was documented online. I had some people contact me about that. That was interesting. So I put a bounty on my own head of $100,000. If you Google Lord Miles bounty ISIS, it'll come up. And they haven't tried to kill me yet, which is quite good because they're pussies. And I'm safer in Afghanistan than I am in the Islamic city of London, my hometown. So I think I'm doing pretty good. What could go wrong, guys? But if you're not ISIS and want to claim a bounty, you can just wave a flag and stab me or something.
Yeah, the problem is we got to come to Afghanistan to do that, and I'm out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I do offer tours as well, so you can pay like me $1,000 for a tour, for, like a few days, and then you can collect 100 extra money. It's real easy. For Wall Street people won't tell you this. One life hack.
Not financial advice.
It actually is. It's genius.
So I just come to Afghanistan, go on a little tour, and I 100x my money. Sign me up. Let's do it. No, I'm just kidding.
But if you know, why not? Why not? But it's no longer dangerous over here. It's pretty sad, I kind of wish Afghanistan was dangerous. Even the Taliban are very depressed over here. They told me stories about how they're really depressed with no war, and they want war to happen. And I kind of relate to that. The fall of Kabul was rather fun, to put it lightly. Apart from the horrific things that happened, but every soldier I was with was having a good time, both Taliban and British side.
So were you part of the British Army or the British forces?
No. So what happened was I had a holiday that I was paid for, and it was kind of forced upon me. So I was about to begin a job, and they had a program where the hours are horrific. So they said, okay, we're going to pay for one of your holidays. Just go away for like 1 week somewhere, run it by us. It's fine. It was a peak of COVID of 2021. And as a British unvaccinated guy, there were only two places you could go. One was Albania and one was Afghanistan. So I decided to go to Afghanistan naturally because Albania is just too dangerous nowadays. I mean, have you seen the pickpocketing? So when I went there, 3 days later, the fall of Kabul happened around me. And I was just kind of posting around it, and I joined like a unit for like a few days until we got evacuated, and I kind of caught the bug. It was a wonderful holiday though, and I had travel insurance, and because my flight got cancelled, I made a decent amount of money off that. I would say always travel to a war zone after like a terrorist attack or like after a war ends or something. There's a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, I can see that.
Your prices go rock bottom. No one else is traveling there, so you get like the whole tour bus to yourself. And there's loads of assets to buy up, because people leave things behind, as you do.
So, what's been your most interesting moment there in Afghanistan throughout the years? I guess you showed up there in 2021. You've been there off and on, I guess, since then.
I've been about 16 times, but I did go to Taliban prison for 8 months because they thought I was a spy. So what happened on my 4th trip, I was in the mountains taking geological surveys for a gold mine. And I was staying in a hotel in Kabul. It was just a generic hotel, but there were two other British people there, and those two British people were genuine spies. I'll tell you the story. And the Taliban were monitoring this hotel, and they went, this guy Miles, we think he's all right, but this guy might be a spy as well. He might be with these two other men. So they arrest me, they interrogate me, and when they don't find anything, they actually begin to like me a little bit. And because I'm arrested by the head of foreign intelligence, I get to meet some ministers, like top in the government, like the equivalent of your senates, I guess. And it's great networking events at the end of the day. And these other two men, they were found to have intelligence reports that were provided them by the British government. They were found to have basically illegal weapons, fake IDs, all this other stuff. Like their Facebook accounts and their usernames were different from the ones without ID, and just nothing matched up. Incredibly dodgy situation. And they were interrogating me. They were like, Miles, what's your mission? And I was like, I was just having fun. And they were like, okay, fair enough. And that was basically 8 months of that. And then after they released us, and I filmed this, by the way, after they released us, they turned to the two British men and they said, if you ever come back to our country, we know you're spies. We're going to arrest you, maybe execute you, give you the death penalty. And they turn to me and go, Miles, our friend, our chum, so sorry about the misunderstanding. It happens, am I right? Listen, they put something in my hand, it's a key, and they say, this is compensation. Here's a house in Afghanistan. We want to say sorry. If you need anything, you're more than welcome to come back. We understand if you don't, you can sell the house for us. But we hope you come back and finish some business. We like you. And so I guess real recognized real. And I've been back in Afghanistan ever since doing some work. As you do.
Well, isn't that interesting? That's a wild turn of events. You go from prisoner to a hero there and end up with a house that they have given you. So I want to address some of the listeners here, or speakers rather. I see there's some people with their hands up, specifically Renault, but I'm going to lay some ground rules before we get started and taking some questions for Lord Miles here tonight. So we are not going to be talking about anything outside of Afghanistan and his role there and mission there tonight. And I just want everybody to stay on topic, and any direct questions for Lord Miles, you're welcome to ask. As long as he's willing to answer, we're willing to listen. All right, Renaud, you have a question?
Yes, I have like a question and a comment for everybody and for Lord, especially for him, because I've noticed one little thing of all the things that he's told us, because I've listened very carefully to everything he said. And there's a beautiful thing that he says, that when he finds people that sometimes they're very evil people, he always tries to show them a real nice side of themselves. Like he tries to go into a good place, and that's very powerful. And they always, like bad people, even have that side of goodness, and he accesses that, and it seems like magic that he has. Like, I'm not very, I don't like very much the business side of him, but he has an incredible way of getting to the good part of evil people, and he uses that as a power, and it's incredible. I don't know if you can comment a little bit more about that power.
Yeah, sure. Well, I guess it's just people at the end of the day. People can be negotiated with, befriended, angered, manipulated, and everything in between, basically. There's certain ways not to piss off certain people. What I do is when I go into a country, I find the country's neighbors. So if I went to, say, I'll tell you a story actually. I was in Dubai. It's on the way to Afghanistan. And I was in a taxi, and I was with some friends, and the taxi driver was Indian. And I go, "You're Indian?" And he goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "I fucking hate Pakistan." "Oh, no, Pakistan, worst people, terrible people. Indian, number one. Number one." And he was so happy, this guy. We created a conversation. It was just meme-worthy. And then we got into another taxi, and we got inside, and the guy was Pakistani. And I go, "You're Pakistani?" He's like, "Oh, yes." I'm like, "Oh, fuck India, dude. Oh, geez, India's the worst. Pakistan, number one." So you just play this whole tribal dynamic with these people. Like Afghans hate all their neighbors. So you just basically talk about that. For example, if I went to Florida, I would go to the nice areas and go like, "Yeah, the Cubans are such an issue, aren't they?" Geez. You've got to understand, enemy of an enemy is your friend. So you can use that to your advantage. And I feel like if you just treat people with respect and you just kind of keep things lighthearted, a lot of these people don't have anyone being funny with them. People are sometimes scared of the Taliban. If you tell them a knock-knock joke, I think they appreciate the break in monotony. Especially a lot of them have PTSD, so you can just goof off a little bit. I mean, that's the general tactic. Obviously, if they get funny with me, if they start talking about their God or any other thing, I'm going to stand my ground because there's only one true God, it's Jesus Christ. But, they treat me with respect. I might as well return the favor. That's all I have to say on that.
Yeah, no, so it sounds like you use common ground, find common ground to make yourself relatable to whoever you're dealing with, and then maybe manipulate the situation a little bit to get their defenses down that every human naturally has initially, right?
Yeah.
And then go from there and see what kind of value they can add to you in your mission.
Thank you. Yeah, sounds good. Okay, we'll take another speaker.
All right, anybody else have any questions? Raise your hand.
I feel like half the people listening think I'm some sort of schizophrenic. They're like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Well, I mean, listen, if you just walked up into a space and you heard this, right? Like, yeah, probably.
It's pretty unreal, to be fair, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Makes sense. I guess, you know how you're in Florida, my man?
Yeah.
I tried to speak to U.S. State Department about. I've got like a contact there, and have you ever seen the movie Borat? You guys have seen Borat, right? Everyone put a heart emoji if you've seen Borat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing some hearts. Well, I thought that was really entertaining, and I thought I would love to do the same things with the Taliban. I tried to get like 5 like goofy Taliban guys I know into America just for a tour, and they were genuinely curious too. I would like to bring them around, take them to museums, a certain site in New York. I would like to bring them to the Deep South and have like some conversations there. I think it'll be pretty entertaining, to put it lightly, and I'm sure it'll be insightful for these people because these people have never seen a skyscraper.
Let me just interrupt you and tell them, if you bring them boys to the South, just bring somebody you don't like because they're probably not leaving.
Oh, that's kind of based, actually. I like that. Why not? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to go over well, to be honest with you.
I think it'll be pretty entertaining. Oh, well, regardless of what happens, it'll be called on camera at least. I feel like if I brought them to Cali, they would elect them into government because those people over there are fucking retarded, unfortunately. Excuse my language.
No, I agree. We agree on that. There's a mind virus that has permeated the world, right? And
yeah,
it's thick over there.
I've only been to America a few times, but I believe it's Washington State, California, some parts of Texas are turning blue, unfortunately. All those places suck, right?
Yeah, Texas doesn't suck yet, but it might be on its way. I see we got a hand up. You want to answer a question from Jack?
Yeah, go on, Jack.
Hey, Lord Miles, big fan, man.
Hey, Jack, how you doing? Thanks,
yeah,
man.
Good. Yeah, good, man. I mean, blown away by your travels, dude. It's fucking crazy. Speaking of Los Angeles, I make like films and documentaries and stuff. I live out in LA. What about the viability of like filming movies out there with like Taliban extras and like crazy desert scenes and just, massive amounts of guns and stuff like that?
Yeah. I mean, you're like a movie maker in LA, right? You said?
Yeah, I do documentaries, but yeah, I'm around a lot of people that do stuff like that.
Honestly, I've known the Taliban allow Jews into Afghanistan with literally no problems. I've always kind of absurd too, but there's been a lot of Jewish tourists that have come here, no problems whatsoever. You can film stuff; it just takes time with permits, and you have to pay some money to make things happen. It'd be hard to bridge, but if you specifically want to create a documentary on Afghanistan, it's definitely possible, definitely doable. I think a documentary about the fall of Kabul and revisiting what it's like now, interviewing some people like I know the Taliban who currently run Bagram Air Base. That's fascinating too. You can just go there and do things. Yeah, that would be
incredible. I mean, it's such a wild story. That would actually be an incredible documentary.
So let me ask a follow-up there, Lord Miles. What kind of shape is Kabul in now? You said what the stark difference is between 2021 and now. What's the difference now?
Well, there's good and bad. I'll start with the good. Basically, I remember, and to be fair, I've only been in like pre-takeover Afghanistan for 3 days, so I might not have a complete picture. But I remember seeing prostitutes before the fall of Kabul. Now that's not a thing, which is good to see. I got threatened with a knife on day 2, just outside of Kabul. That would never happen now. I walk around the streets in like local and Western clothing all the time. People know I'm a foreigner. They invite me, no problem. Everyone kind of sticks in line. I had people try and pickpocket me on those days, but now doesn't happen. There's a few beggars. That's unfortunate. And I would say things were a lot more well maintained back then. The streets were more polished. Everything was newer. However, nowadays, the streets they're degrading a little bit. I don't think the funding is there to maintain all the infrastructure because it was kind of a Ponzi scheme. There was no real economy. It was just money being pumped in. The funny thing is, though, I've seen a lot more building going on. There's a lot of Chinese construction sites putting up luxury skyscrapers for housing because the Afghans they can't invest in the stock market or crypto or anything, so they all invest in property or real estate. And the Chinese are building cheap infrastructure for the Afghans. There's Chinese everywhere. They basically started gold mines, lithium mines. They're making billions off this country. And they're kind of happy the West has not decided to do business over here because they get all the money for themselves. Same with the Russians. So it's kind of a Cold War country, really, where you can actually fight through economic proxies. I would say as well, there's a lot more order in Afghanistan. The Taliban are on every street corner, so you can just go to them if you have a problem, which is very nice to see. If you're even lost, they'll take you to your hotel. I've seen it happen with tourists. I've seen quite a few Western tourists here too. I've come across Mormons in Afghanistan who are trying to start like hospitals and hotels and such. I've seen like Israelis walking around with a little kippers with no issues, which to me is like just a mental flashbang. You wouldn't expect it from the Taliban, but they're bizarrely
absolutely not.
Yeah, they're just like, yeah, as long as you come as a tourist and don't do like religious protests, you're more than happy to come. But if you come with war, we're going to kill you. We just want our country back. But otherwise, you can come as a tourist, enjoy yourself. You come for business, enjoy yourself. Just don't break our laws.
So let me ask you this. I know you mentioned the Russians and the Chinese. Are both of those actively involved in what you would call rebuilding or taking advantage of the economic situation there? Or is it one or the other mainly?
Oh, both. So I would say in this area called Masharif, it's like a city that's near the Iranian border. There's a large deposit of oil, like a very large deposit. And the US Geological Survey paid for surveys across Afghanistan, saying, hey, here's where the gold is, how much there is, here's where the lithium is, how much there is, and so on, across Afghanistan. And then when the fall of Kabul happened, they released all this data to the world. So the Chinese and the Russians saw this, and they just flew in and said, hey, we want to buy this area right here. And then the Taliban said, yeah, sure, why not? So you're kind of paying for your enemies to exploit this. And so now the Chinese have invested, I think, 300 million in some mines up north in the Belt and Road Initiative. And there's a ton of gold. I've been screaming about it for ages. If you invest a few million into a gold mine in Afghanistan, you're gonna make a lot more back. It's one of the ventures I'm trying basically, a smaller scale at the moment. It's going well. What else? Yeah, I would say it's really stupid that the West are shutting them out. I understand that we lost the war, and not everyone's pro Taliban. I have my genuine criticisms as as a Catholic. However, you gotta recognize them because even if you don't like them, they are in charge of the country and the government. Like we don't like North Korea, but we understand that Kim Jong Un controls the place, right? Like real recognizes real, and that's the situation on the ground. And you might as well establish some communication with these people on a public level, so you can just do business, because otherwise your enemies, Russia and China, are basically taking over this very important state because it's in a strategic location. You might as well just walk in, go, oh yeah, I recognize the Taliban. okay, release the American prisoners. We'll release our prisoners in Guantanamo, and we'll just do some business. We'll make some money. We'll be sitting on sofas, drinking non-alcoholic beer, watching TV. You guys get fat and a little bit rich, middle class, I guess, and you guys will give up the life of jihad because you won't be starving anymore. You'll be sitting in a cozy apartment, living like an early 2000s lifestyle in America.
Yeah, I get it. We have somebody else with a raised hand. You want to take another question from Not
Oh,
Okay?
I know this guy. Yeah, sure, my man.
Hey, how's it going, Miles?
Hey, man, long time no speak.
So back to the topic you were just kind of, mentioning is like economic opportunities over there. I remember you saying something like you're going to open like a hotel or something, and you were investing or getting a permit in like mining the gold mines and all that. So how's all that going?
Yeah, I don't think there was anything about hotel. I was looking into basically one investor who wanted to look into opening a hotel, but it wasn't my personal venture. I was just helping someone bridge the gap, and maybe I could take like a 0.5% commission if I was successful in helping them. But the gold mines were going quite well. So we had some basically Dubai British and some Americans visit Afghanistan through me the other week, and we took them to numerous areas, and they took about 500 kilograms of core samples, so that's kind of samples out of the ground, and they've bagged this and they've sent it to a lab in the Middle East, which can analyze the soil to confirm the geological survey to make sure that there's a correct amount of gold in the area before they purchase land. And because I'm the broker for this, I'll get 15% commission on the gold mine project. They will invest all the capital, of course, and all the infrastructure, and they have the know-how and all the geologists. So that's going to be up and running within, I would say it's like 8 months or 9 months or so. It will take them a month to get all the samples collected and basically analyzed. And then they've got to import a bunch of items. For processing, they've got to hire local staff on the ground that I've got help with. So the gold mine's going quite well at the moment. We're looking at 17 grams per ton. So if 1 gram of gold costs $80 and there's 17 grams per ton and you're mining about 8 tons an hour, and that's quite conservative. And then if you do that for 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, 52 weeks a year, you're putting in some decent numbers.
Cool, very cool. So I guess the last thing I wanted to ask is just hypothetically, if someone like me in the United States wanted to somehow like start up a business over there, do some remotely like that, how difficult is that process?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it does depend. What type of business are we talking about here? Are we talking about the mineral business, or are we talking about like a retail shop?
I guess like I haven't really thought about it too much, but let's say I wanted to open like a factory over there and produce something like tennis shoes or clothing or just pretty much anything like that. Like how much would I have to do? Like how is the process?
Yeah, good idea. I think women's fashion in Afghanistan is booming. So if you create some clothing, that'd be quite good. But I would say you would need to go to the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Minister of the relevant authorities. So if you're doing mining, the Minister of Mining, and so on. And then you would create a proposal. You would come, you would have a meeting, and then they would say, okay, these are the next steps. This is what we want. We want some sort of proof of funds. We want you to apply for a license. A license basically just means going to the office, getting a business license, and setting up a business. And then from there, you can register yourself. You can then do everything like rent a storefront, set up shop, create a factory, buy land, and so on. The other thing is you might have to go to the State Department and get approval, because if you're paying taxes towards the government, they might be a bit iffy on it, even though the Taliban aren't sanctioned as a whole. It's just key individuals. So you would submit a 2-page form, and I think it costs like, I looked into it, it was like cost a lawyer in the US about $8,000 to fill it out professionally. And it's basically just a disclosure saying, hey, I am doing business in Afghanistan. This is my business. This is my business location. And this is who I pay my taxes to make sure that you're not funneling money in any way, basically. And then from there you can just open it up. Again, these people are very bureaucratic. Again, they aren't white people, so they aren't stupidly efficient and rocket scientists. They aren't geniuses. But you figure out the culture. You have more than enough patience, because trust me, things take their time over here, like any brown country. Let's be honest. And eventually, you can open. There's quite a few factories here that produce a lot of goods. And what the Taliban do to reward people who open factories is whatever you make. Let's say energy drinks. If you make energy drinks in Afghanistan, they will put tariffs on every other country that they import energy drinks from. So your product will be the only product in the country. So that means you kind of automatically have 60 million potential customers at your fingertips and no competition.
Huh. That's an interesting perspective.
Wow.
And I'll just say, I'm having a really hard time wrapping my mind around killing these people for almost 2 decades. And then,
You know what? Yeah.
you know where I'm going, right?
Oh, yeah. No, go on, actually.
Well, so I'm having a problem wrapping my mind around we were at war with these people for this long. They've killed people that I personally know. And then becoming, I understand economics well, but that taste is still there, right? So what kind of advice would you have for Americans like me?
Yeah, I would say have a decent amount of capital. They don't want anyone coming there and bullshitting them and giving them empty promises. Trust me, every government minister in Afghanistan gets told, I'm going to do this, I'm going to open this. And it never really happens sometimes. People just don't do it, or they just don't follow through. So have some financial backer. I would say do your research, ask around. And of course, there's a few hundred other countries in the world. So you might as well start with some of those maybe. Afghanistan might not be the top pick. No idea personally. I'm kind of biased, I keep coming here. But if you want to do something, I would say just do it. Business is a race against time, because someone else might do it first. And, you can just do things sometimes. It's kind of based,
Yeah, sure.
Like, for example, I look around Kabul, and there's not a single good coffee shop. And for people who travel in and out of Afghanistan, they're begging for a Starbucks or a Costa or something. So if you open a Western style coffee shop at a Starlink for fast internet, everyone has plugs for their laptops, because some Afghans do like to do that. Make the coffee cheap but actually good. Doesn't taste like instant coffee, which is what they use nowadays. Have like a garden area. Have like some books on the shelf. Give the Taliban like a 10% discount to keep them on your good side. I think you'll have a nice environment.
Well, and I understand the business side of it, but what I was talking about is my personal feelings, right? So, I mean, I see guys at veteran events with, prosthetic legs and prosthetic arms and in wheelchairs and that kind of thing. And there's a lot of money to be made in this world, and a lot of ways to make money.
Okay.
So I'm thinking about the benefit, right? Like I'm not trying to be combative. I'm just generally asking, like, why would I invest money there versus somewhere that's more westernized?
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, I'll address your feelings about the Taliban. Pretend, China. Let's pretend China was a lot richer and more powerful than the US. Hypothetically, never gonna happen. Let's just say. And then someone from the US government committed a terrorist attack against some Chinese soil, basically. They did a 9/11 or whatever. And then the US government, even though people don't know it, protected this person. And then China invaded. Would you sit down and think about it and then go, actually, we did something wrong there, and we're guilty as a collective. I'm going to let China occupy our land? Absolutely not. You guys, with the American gun market that you guys have, will form your militias in your constitution, and you will fight the invading force regardless of the moral position, because it's your land and you don't like other people controlling you and telling you how things work. Like if the Chinese tried to impose communism on you, try to get rid of your churches, all that other stuff, you would fight, right? The same thing really happened with the Taliban. A lot of them, like I think 99.9%, were not involved with Osama bin Laden whatsoever. They didn't know he existed. and most of them didn't know what a skyscraper was or what even America was. All they knew that they were being bombed by the Americans, and they've lost fathers, sons, daughters, whatever, to the Americans, and they knew they had guns and they should fight back. Basically, like again, I'm not the like that's how they see it basically. So I would say, they're not comically evil figures. You can kind of get their point of view. You know what I mean? And Afghanistan isn't the easiest place to do business. I've got to admit, there's other options out there. However,
I got to cut you off right there real quick. We have a special guest. Timeless Martian is here. Oh, I'm not sure if you're familiar with him or not, but Timeless Martian is here.
He is. I told him about the old situation. Hey, Miles.
Hey, how you doing, my man? Wow, this guy's got a lot of olds.
Pretty good. Sorry, say again?
This guy has a lot of olds. Your voice sounds familiar.
Yeah, just one. I just have one. This is the one.
So true. Yeah, we'll
there's like limitless trolling involved with this, and it's not even my doing. It's like everybody else does the trolling on my behalf, which I believe is the ultimate troll. It's like there is no art to trolling. There is only the troll itself, and if it does itself, then it's the most successful troll.
I can tell you on Reddit in the early days, this kind of mentality has definitely come throughout the years. Good man. So I do like the trolling.
I do have a question.
Yeah, sure. I might have an answer.
So you mentioned that the Taliban is constantly they're basically want the war to happen, or they're want war to happen again. So because they're bored basically. So why would somebody want to come over there and invest now if they're ready to basically pop off?
So the only war they want, it's kind of like it's like American veterans who want to go back to war. People do miss it. After World War II, people also, a good portion of people, I say 1/5, 20%, stated in literature that they really did want World War II to continue. They miss the warfare, because war is generally fun for people with that mindset. Like it's enjoyable. You can imagine if you aren't affected by PTSD, you can really have a great time. It's why people sign up for the US Army. It's why people play video games with war. There's an appeal to it. But I don't think they're going to start war anytime soon. The only war they may start is with Pakistan, because Afghanistan has allied with India. Not my top pick, but whatever, maybe the Afghans can export toilets and toilet paper and perfume. Anyway. And Pakistan has been fucking with Afghanistan for a while, namely ISI, which is their intelligence service. They've been messing with the Afghans. And so they are considering a joint operation between the two. And when the Pakistan-India conflict that recently happened was escalating, all the Taliban went to the borders with Pakistan. And then the Pakistan High Command, I was overhearing this call. The Pakistan High Command called up my guy, the head of foreign intelligence, and he was like, "Hey, why do you have 10,000 troops on this one border wall right now?" And he's like, "Oh, we're just securing the border to make sure there's no trafficking or no smuggling or anything. No reason, don't overthink it. Bye bye." And he just hung up. So I think there might be some small scale war, but no one's going to invade Kabul. No one's stupid enough to actually go into Afghanistan and try and fight. China doesn't want to do it. Pakistan doesn't have the manpower. Same with India. Same with Iran. Nothing's happening.
Yeah, but I think the Russians and the Americans have found out it's a meat grinder there if you get involved in it.
I think it would actually be very easy to take Afghanistan, but very sadly we have these, rules of engagement, and there's only there's human rights and all these other things you've got to do. But Genghis Khan managed to take it. True, Genghis Khan managed to come into Afghanistan, and now that's why 40% of the country is genetically Hazara, which is descendants of Genghis Khan. Turns out you'd have to kill civilians, but I've never signed the Geneva Convention myself personally. But then again, I might go to prison for that. So these liberals nowadays. But that's just my 2 cents, really.
Well, let me ask you this: how does your home country of the UK, how do they feel about what you got going on? Do they? I mean, the state of UK is terrible right now, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the UK is a radical Islamic country right now. It's very sad to see. Honestly, 1 in 4 Taliban I speak to have a relative in London or Birmingham. Birmingham's like at Detroit, basically, like at California. There are loads of Taliban with family in England, and I know quite a few Taliban with photo evidence they've shown me have visited England themselves. I've also heard stories of some ISIS members in Taliban jail, and a few of them have British passports.
Wow.
I would say the Muslims in England are more radical than the ones in Afghanistan, to put it lightly. I've seen what's happened in England. I think England is heading to a big dystopia. I think England's basically fucked. I've met my fellow English people. I've grown up with them in my 25 years of life. I think half of them are genuinely retarded and have no idea what's coming. I think my government is comically evil and, again, retarded. It's run by a bunch of liberal women who haven't moved past like the 2015 libtard stage of things. America has moved past that, God, long ago. But these people seem stuck in it, and they're too polite to say the real things. Like, these people, they don't add anything to our country. And the UK is just going to become a Islamic state by the time 2040 comes about. And I think we need to actively round people up and deport them. That's a liberal option that I'm having, basically.
Yeah,
so the UK
right.
government, I once got interrogated by the British intelligence at an airport special branch. So they pulled me into a room, and at this point I was on the way to South Sudan, as you do. And this was just after the fall of Kabul, so it was very early on. And they take my biometrics against my will. They can just do that, apparently. And they search my phone, and I can't say no. They can just do that without a warrant, apparently, because God forbid a white Christian goes to another country. He's a real one to be concerned about. And they search my phone, they find nothing. And then they ask me some questions, and they're like, "What, Miles? Are you Muslim? What do you think about Muslims?" And I say my real opinion, which I can't repeat here. And they kind of take them back, and they're like, "Why are you going there?" And I said the same reason that the British went to Afghanistan in the 1800s, for money and for glory, because it's generally fun to do business in these parts of the world. God forbid, Lawrence of Arabia returns back to Cairo, and then suddenly gets interrogated by MI6 about why he managed to round all the people up and create like a little army and do good deeds. It's retarded. The British government can't touch me. When I was out of Taliban jail, I didn't get interrogated whatsoever. The British government flew me back to England with the actual spies, and they basically said, "Oh, Miles, we've got to talk to the other two men who were in jail. No reason whatsoever. Don't question it. Don't worry about it. But you have to go now. You can go home." And I go, "Do I get interrogated?" They're like, "No, it's all good. Don't worry. We know you're good." But to be fair, I did kind of let them know I was fine. So when I was in Taliban jail, I had my laptop, because I convinced the Taliban to give me my laptop. And then I connected to a rogue Wi-Fi network occasionally by guessing the password. Turns out most of the passwords of the intelligence department are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I went on the MI6 website where you can submit anonymous information. And then I was like, wait a minute, maybe the network's being monitored. Maybe this is a trap. And to be honest, I want a future in this country. I'm gonna be tactical with this. So I typed in, "Hey, this is your boy Lord Miles here in Taliban jail. These are my coordinates. This is like something that you can identify me as, and no, I'm actually me." Basically, I want to request, when I get out of Taliban jail, if it's tomorrow or next year or the next 100 years, I want a bacon cheeseburger waiting for me upon my release. The Taliban let me have takeaway. I can have steaks, I can have kebabs, I can have like salads or whatever. But a nigga can't find a good cheeseburger in Afghanistan. Shit. So give me one, please. And I gave him a very specific order of like onions, this type of sauce, and so on. And then like a week later, I followed up on the order. I was like, "Hey, it's Lord Miles again. I want extra cheese this time," and I added to the order. When I flew to Dubai through our British Foreign Office, there were two women there that were waiting for me and the other men. And they put us in hotels, and they were questioning, "Are you okay?" And they gave us fresh clothes and all this other stuff. But then they said, "Miles, we have something for you." And I generally forgot about the bacon cheeseburger till then. And they presented me the bacon cheeseburger with the exact order I asked for. So it turns out MI6 are willing to buy me a cheeseburger, but not willing to interrogate me. So no problems whatsoever.
Yeah, that's cool to know. Listen, you were talking about the UK a minute ago and how, you know, the you're still in the 2015 libtard stage. The mind virus is thick over there. And are there any plans to do anything about the grooming gangs over there?
No. You've got to understand our country is occupied. And I can't say who is occupying it because, you know, I think X operates in Israel somewhat. However, you know, we're basically controlled by these communist woke people who are financed by outside powers, namely Israel, Qatar, and a few others, with no real group protecting the British people. So there was a mass rape of British girls, underage and above age, by, let's be honest, Pakistanis, Muslims. And, you know, they raped, they murdered, they did horrific things. People were literally fed into kebabs and served to the public. Children were drugged, raped by 50 men. They did 1 year in prison because the British government have fetishized radical Islam for some reason. And I believe the king has been converted. I generally think the king is no longer Christian. And they're just supporting it. The only thing that makes sense is that the British basically just want the country to be Islamic and they just hate the normal people. Reform is a political party it's like our Trump basically, Reform Party with Nigel Farage in charge. But the thing is too, he still has no balls. He doesn't want to deport any people. England is 20% foreign. I can walk around areas of Birmingham and Leicester for 40 minutes and not see a single white person. These people don't even speak English. It's terrible. I don't think, unless if you round people up and just stick them on boats and push them away and secure the border, you're not going to fix any problems. The UK is generally retarded. Like I have no hope for this country. I've left it. I feel safer in Afghanistan. I could rant about this for hours, but I can't emphasize how bad it is.
Yeah, that's a terrible thing. They've been a great ally to our country since we beat them in the war. So I mean, I hate to hear that. I hate that for the people there. There's some really good people in the UK and in Great Britain that are suffering greatly. So
I would support tactical nukes against key cities in the England from the US. And plus, the US controls our nukes basically because the technology inside was developed by the US, and the US doesn't share any of the classified materials of its design or its actual process or how it works with the UK. So I think there's definitely a fail safe inside, where the UK will basically just have its nukes disabled by the US when it becomes a Muslim majority country. I think if there's American financiers listening right now, you need to start pumping money into political campaigns in England to basically radicalize the youth and push them towards, you know, some base ideas.
yeah, so that's interesting stuff there. Going back to your current situation, what's your 90-day plan right now?
Yeah, sure. So sitting in my driveway right now is Osama bin Laden's pickup truck. So I went to visit people of Tora Bora. I tracked down a pickup truck that was used by Osama personally during the the whole 9/11 stuff. He's photographed it with his pickup truck. I've got proof that it's actually his and not some generic model, and I'm going to export this to the West and sell it on auction to like Sotheby's or something. I've got a contact with the Sultan of Brunei, who has the world's biggest car collection, and he's apparently interested, which is quite cool. So I'm just exporting that. My cameraman is coming on Wednesday. He's flying in, so we're just going to do this as a YouTube video. I'm also opening a few businesses here, namely Starlink would be quite good in this country for the locals because the locals don't have any fast internet. You pay $300 a month for 10 megabytes a second. It sucks. So the good thing about Starlink is I can come to Afghanistan, connect 15 devices to one dish, and I'm paying a fraction of the price that the locals pay for the fastest internet in the country, and it works anywhere, which is incredible. So I'm just looking into that type of business there as well. the other thing is too, there's an obelisk, like a memorial. So when 9/11 happened, a lot of the steel beams were retrieved, and some of them were sent to military bases across Afghanistan and put on display. So there's one in Bagram Air Base, the main US air base, that has 9/11 never forget or something engraved on the actual thing, and it's in the center. But during the fall of Kabul, this was left behind, and it's a national embarrassment. If you Google 9/11 monument Kabul Taliban takeover or something, this has been left behind, and everyone's really pissed off about it, and it's embarrassing basically that it was left behind. It's about 900 pounds, 10 foot tall. And I heard about this like a few days ago, so I made a call, and I was like, hey, can I have it? And they were like, yeah, sure. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to contact the US State Department and get it shipped back to the US. To be honest, my US visa, I've been to the US 3 times. I have no criminal record. I've helped the US with some US prisoners in Afghanistan. Like, I provided information, and the Taliban know this. So I've tried to be a good sport about it, and I've been very open with my intentions in Afghanistan. And of course, I'm a white Catholic nationalist. I'm not falling for anything here. But the US revoked my visa as I was flying to go on Tucker Carlson. So it's probably the Biden administration got scared, you know what I mean? They didn't want me speaking about things. But I hope to basically give this to the Americans as a gift, as a show of good faith, and they can reinstate my visa to the US. So what I did was I went for some meetings, did some touristy stuff, met some interesting people. So I feel like this would put me in good favor with the Trump administration if I managed to pull this off. But it's going to cost me about $8,000 in logistics and shipping, because of course you can't just grab it and stick it on a pickup truck. You need a crane, you need trucks, you need specialized shipping services, because Afghanistan doesn't have any seaports. So yeah, I'm just trying to export things that the Taliban have gotten, and the US has failed to get out for 3 years now.
I don't want to I don't want to ask it inappropriately, but do you have a contact within the State Department here?
I've only got pencil pushers. I've only got pencil pushers. So no one. They basically said yes to it, but I've got no one calling me, even saying like, "Hey, this is a good idea. Thank you. If you can do it, it's greatly appreciated." It's just like it's just a callback saying, "Yeah, no problem." And I feel like I've been stonewalled a little bit. Like, God forbid a nigger does something kind.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, if anyone has a State Department contact, just be like, hey, this guy, Lord Miles here, it's doing what hundreds of staff and billions of dollars in budget have failed to do with no profit incentive. And it's
I hope we get that pillar back home for sure. I hope somebody reaches out to you and get that back home.
Thank you, I appreciate it. And the other thing is too, there's I might as well drop this. There's probably a few journalists listening. I'm kind of sick and tired of this. There's been a US prisoner in Afghanistan for 2.5 years now, and no media has ever spoke about him. I tried to reach out to CNN about it to talk about his situation, and they just refused to take the story, despite it being highly entertaining. So I'm just gonna say it anyway in this group right now. So listen up, guys. There's a US citizen. His name is Paul Jackson, P-O-L, and then Jackson. He's an Iraqi veteran who worked artillery in the 2010s, and when he went to Afghanistan recently, he's a black man. He went to Afghanistan recently with the sole mission of trying to find and join ISIS. So immediately, if you hear that, you think either he's crazy, he's been radicalized, or he's a Fed. And to be fair, I'm split between the two, but I just can't care. And what he did was he acted crazy as soon as he got arrested. I was with him. He got arrested like 1 day after me. No connection, just met the guy in jail. He sucker punched a member of the Taliban, and he called them fake Muslims. He said he's American Mujahideen, and he wanted to do a terrorist attack against the Burj Khalifa. And he thinks Joe Biden is beaming thoughts into his brain through satellites. So he sounds like a schizophrenic, but again,
I think they can keep that guy, man. I think they can keep him.
True, but he's a veteran, and he
I don't think they should keep him. I think they should probably get him some psychiatric help, especially being a veteran. That's kind of shitty.
It gets worse. So he actually believes Michael Jackson is his long lost father, and he's apparently bigger than Snoop Dogg, and he thinks he's worth $100 million. And what's her name? Kim Kardashian is personally beaming satellites into his mind. So when I was in the prison, I would go down to his cell. He's kept in isolation because he's not a safe guy. And he was screaming like, "Yo, fuck you, Joe Biden. Yo, get the fuck out of my head. Yo, Kim, fuck you, man." And he keeps going on like that. I would listen to his rants for hours when I was bored. Generally entertaining, if not sad. And obviously the Taliban, he's been in isolation in a basement for 2.5 years. I got permission to go, into the garden, into the sunlight for vitamin D. The Taliban understood this during my 8 months in prison. They were like, "Yeah, go to the garden, no problem, Miles." And this guy, we forced him into the garden once, and he was like, "No, I want to go back to my cell." So he's definitely got vitamin D deficiency because he refuses to go outside. He just refuses to move. Like, he attacks the Taliban. The State Departments have failed to get him out. I provided information about his whereabouts, who to contact in order to get a welfare check done, which hasn't been done up to this point. I've managed, independently, I've flown to Afghanistan, spoken to my contacts, and I've spent like $500 on, foods, like local foods, like vitamins, books for him, and I've passed it on to my guy who's given it on to this guy in his cell, and he's refused to read any books because he believes they're un-Islamic. But then if you question him about Islam, he doesn't know how to say the kalima. That's like their version of the Our Father. So if he's a radical Muslim who loves Bin Laden and ISIS, you think the guy would know how to say like the most basic thing. He doesn't know any lines of the Quran, and the Taliban just don't believe he's Muslim. So he's put himself in a really retarded position. So either he's a schizophrenic or the worst fed ever. And to be honest, it's probably a prisoner swap that's going on. He's probably worth like 10 or 20 people, but it seems like the US has just abandoned him. Again, he's a dodgy guy. I don't respect what he's done. He's obviously done some stupid stuff, but he served with the US Army in Iraq. He's probably seen some shit. Maybe he's traumatized. I would just say get him home. It's been 2.5 years. Put him in Section 8 or whatever, and just give him some therapy, give him some counseling, like help a guy out, But sadly, no one wants to help him. It seems like everyone's just pushing pencils.
Well, the problem is the prisoner swap. I mean, you're talking about like releasing people from Guantanamo Bay to get a schizophrenic guy out of prison. I mean, it's kind of hard to leverage that trade value, and what are we getting out of it? I know as sad as that sounds, but I wish he could get help and he could just get released on that. But if it requires prisoner swap, I mean that's kind of hard to do, and from an American perspective, especially diplomacy.
Yeah, it's real. I mean, I'll be honest. I'll tell you guys what happens. I provided info to the U.S. government at their request about his situation, everything about him, everything that went on, as their sole source of intelligence. And then my U.S. visa got denied, and it's like, I've never seen anything positive about any other religion apart from Christianity. I've got to be honest, I'm kind of a white nationalist. I don't see how they consider me a threat to any country. I've got no criminal record. I've got proof of it. I've got a decent source of income for my businesses. I haven't violated any sanctions. But it seems like the US just doesn't really have common sense, unfortunately, regarding some things. Sad to see.
I think wasn't it an ESTA visa? It would have been an ESTA visa, right?
It was an ESTA, and then I was flying to Tucker Carlson. So I went on Andrew Tate's podcast, flew to Switzerland. That was my connecting flight to JFK. It was straight going on Tucker Carlson, and then I got an email saying my ESTA had been revoked, and I go, "Oh, that's strange." And I just provided information to the US government. They were very thankful for it. It's very strange. Maybe the left hand doesn't speak the right hand. I don't know. So then I apply for a US visa. I have to wait like 6 months to get an appointment. And I walk in and I show, hey, I've got a great amount of savings, a great source of income, like top 1% of the UK, to put it lightly. And this is my religion. Here's a letter from my priest. This is my work I've done. This is how I've helped you guys. I just literally want to go to meet some people, go on some podcasts, speak about some business. I'm not looking to work in the US. And they deny my visa, saying we think he's going to just abandon his country of England and start working illegally in the US. And I've never given any hints or anything regarding that intention. I like the US a lot, but truthfully, I don't want to work there or live there. It's not my thing,
So
I think
has that been recently?
It was kind of early 2024, so not too recent. But in order for me to get another appointment, it's going to take 7 months, and I just don't know what country I'm going to be in. And truthfully, if they've said no, I just don't see them helping me out really.
So this was the Biden administration, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you got to understand too something about America is that things can change within an hour. You can get told no about something, and then you talk to a different person, and you get a different answer within the very same hour. And I know I know that's not practical, but it's true.
Sounds like the U.S. government's run by my ex. Damn, indecisive.
Yeah, they're pretty schizophrenic over here, man. As far as our government is concerned, really, if you had a contact, that would help a lot.
Truthfully, I think my contacts, one of the guys, I just messaged him saying, "Hey, listen, I did this for you. Let me in. What's the problem?" Usually for intelligence, you get paid $10,000 for what I told you guys. Let's be honest, I know the going rates. And they just said, maybe in the future. I'm like, well, I'm not going to become an asset to you guys by telling you information that no one else has that has helped you greatly for nothing in return. It's not really worth my time at the end of the day. I would love to get in, but I'm not going to become a spy just to get a tourist visa for something I should have anyway. And I don't think when Trump got into office, I would like this idea, but it didn't happen. I wish Trump, had a piece of paper. He said, "Hey, this guy Lord Miles here. I heard he got denied. Sick guy. Follow him on my alt. He's a funny legend. Shit, he's got great stories, man. Real recognizes real. Let that nigger in. Shit." It would be great, but sadly, no one here has a Trump administration contact. Unless if you do, just send them a text. I'm sure they wouldn't mind that. I've actually got a warehouse in the US. I'm leasing out. I literally sell Taliban merch. So those Taliban flags, they're legal to own. I just sell them to Texans who like to collect these things. I can see why they denied me, but military badges, military patches. People like to buy those quite a bit. Rugs like traditional art rugs. Turns out they sell for $4,000 or $5,000 in the West. These traditional rugs. Turns out in the market of Afghanistan, you could buy them for $400 and $200 for shipping. Turns out someone's got a monopoly of the market, and I've kind of bypassed that. And I just smell trinkets, but it's like someone being in Vietnam after the US pulled out and just selling pointy hats, little Vietnamese hats. It's the same thing. Again, I've actually denied orders to people called Mohammed in America because I'm like, yo, this is kind of sus. I'll keep it real with you guys. I also have a Christian merch store where I just sell crosses, Bibles, this type of stuff. I feel like the US has a file on me, and it's kind of they're very confused about my ideology and my motivations. But
well, listen, I am too. I'll be honest with you, brother. I am too, right? I'm kind of confused too. But I'm enjoying
I think it requires a good sense of humor to understand this, to be honest. I'm sitting here laughing the whole time. This is amazing.
Thank you.
There's no way you can kind of squash this into a bureaucratic frame. That's really the issue. People try to squash everything into a bureaucratic frame. They try to understand, what is this thing? What if you just did things? What if instead of drop shipping Chinese products, you just decided, hey, I'm going to sell Taliban's rugs. Here, you want a rug? That's amazing.
Real. I mean, instead of rug pulling, why not provide for rugs?
Well, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's just fun. Honestly, I think the collectors just want this stuff. Gun nuts, war veterans. They just want cool merch from foreign lands. When I was in South Sudan, I bought military patches, first person to legally export them. When I was on the front lines of Ukraine, I kind of started buying Azov merch before it was outlawed. When I was on Snake Island in Brazil as the first like person to go there illegally, I collected like sand and I sold little vials of sand. Again, it's just fun and there's a demand for it and no one's using it for dodgy means, so that's all good. The only thing that could probably piss them off is I did sanction India, so in my store I put the tariffs up to 10 trillion billion quadrillion percent, because you have Indians like that, they keep DMing me saying they're threatening to rape my mother or something, and it's because I went to Pakistan and said one good thing about it, like, oh, I like the food, and all the nationalists came out. So then if you Google Lord Miles nuke, I did threaten to nuke India, and then the Indian Times picked up upon that. I have a physics background, so it's really easy to build a nuke. It's just really hard to actually find the materials and enrich the uranium. The Taliban spoke to me. They were like, Miles, should we create the nuke? This was like day 20 of prison. And I think they were just like spitballing. And I was like, you guys have done this war for 20 years, maybe even 40 years. Nukes, they would be good, but you're not going to be able to open up to the outside world. You're going to be treated like North Korea. Not a good long-term strategy. How about you do the economic jihad first? And then, they would go to you and be like, yo, this is the Singapore of Central Asia. It's a beautiful place.
Absolutely, alternate. Absolutely, that was
amazing. That's for our artistic kids in the room.
That was for me.
Like me.
The autistic kid who enjoys
Jesus
that.
Christ.
I like trains.
But yeah, what about that brick? You have that brick. Aside from, of course, the nuke story.
Wait.
And
you have a brick? Oh,
no,
you mean
your
the one
brick.
I left?
The beautiful
the
brick.
one I left it. I did leave a brick in the Taliban toilet last night. Let's be honest, their toilets
I don't mean that. I believe you. I don't mean that brick. I mean the brick from that ancient piece of infrastructure that archaeologists don't acknowledge exists.
Oh yes, I do have it.
That special brick, yes.
I gifted it to someone, but I can break off pieces. If someone wants the brick, if someone powerful in this group chat wants a brick, get someone to send me a PO box through a mutual contact, and I can send a sample. And you obviously can send it to a lab, double check it. But I went to the I think it's called the Drazar or Drazar. I keep getting mixed up. But there's an ancient monument in Timamoon. And when you look in the Sahara Desert, there's usually nothing but sand. Well, in the middle of the sand, there's an ancient monument from before Christ. Ancient monument with old Jewish inscriptions on it in Algeria. It's the most remote place, apparently, in the Sahara. And I just went there on a whim. Turns out you can just walk in the desert and no one's really stop you because there's no sand police. And I went up to this ancient monument and I was like, wow, that's so cool. As a British person, I should respect this place and leave it as it is. Then I realized we have the British Museum, and I just took a few bricks from the ancient monuments, and somehow it got through airport security, and I've just got I'm the sole person on the earth to have this brick, basically, this piece of this art, piece of this ancient monument.
So why don't they acknowledge it?
Acknowledge what, my man?
You said that someone doesn't acknowledge that monument exists.
Yeah, the Algerian government, they hate the idea that it's the middle of nowhere because occasionally you have Westerners who try to go there. And it's in the middle of a desert, so there are some insurgent groups, namely ISIS. They've kidnapped some people in the past around the area. So there was a Spanish man quite recently who he was a little bit further towards the Libyan border, but he tried to go there, and then ISIS kidnapped him and tried to ransom him off, and then the Algerian government and army had to get involved and take him back. And I believe there's a Western old lady who is still missing till this day, a few months later, presumed dead or kidnapped. So, they were like, they just don't want the trouble of tourists coming. Algeria isn't big on tourism anyway. I had to jump through quite a few hoops to get even in the country. I faked a lot of documents anyway. And then when I got in, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to take a bus to the edge of the Sahara. And then I said, okay, I've got some bottles of water and some sunscreen. I'm just going to go for a walk. And then I went for a walk. And then I just went there, filmed it. And I said, okay, lovely brick. Thank you very much. Mine, yoink. Back to the British Museum with you. And then I just flew out. And then I announced it. And I've had some crazy offers for a brick. Because turns out rich people like eccentric stuff like this. But I've managed to get things like this from other places around the world. Like on Snake Island, I've gone pieces of a lighthouse that was built by slaves, and no one's really been there apart from Mr. Beast recently, but he never went to the main part of the island. And I think pretty much every tourist who ever gone there without government approval has died, apart from me, because I wore a suit of medieval armor. Snakes can't bite through armor on Snake Island. Anyway, what other stuff too? Yeah, I've just been to some like ancient monuments in the middle of nowhere. I just Googled top 10 places you shouldn't go, and then I go. You know, they're like, oh, this lost area in the middle of the Saudi desert, so desolate. Oh, anyone who dares go will surely die. And I just go, okay, I can do it in 2 days. Turns out humanity isn't cooked, and you can actually just do things. Kind of underwhelming. I want to go to North Central Island, and I've got a guy who works in satellite imagery, so I've been monitoring Indian troop movements in the area. Turns out the Indians aren't the best tactical geniuses. There was a guy recently who actually snuck onto North Central Island, but sadly he didn't take my advice and he got arrested. But I want to go to North Central Island. I want to document it all. I want to go to it in a suit of medieval armor that's basically arrow-proof. If they try and attack me with hammers or whatever, pepper spray to the eyes. It's real simple. The British also gave them a bunch of gold, a bunch of amulets in the 1800s as a sign of peace. So they still have them. So I want my property back now that India, you know, hypothetically isn't under British control. Unfortunately, we would have actually built like hygiene and given them soap. On the island too, no one's documented the interior of the island. You know, the actual buildings that they have made, the shelters, the structures. I would love to do that. But no one's also documented their language, so I would love to, you know, get some audio of that too. I would also collect like a ton of sand off the island, and I would sell it like Bella Delphine's bathwater. You know, like $50 a pop for like a few grams in a little jar. And also the North Sentinelese, they have these compound bows. You know, these bows and arrows. I think that's cool. So I'll go on Amazon and I'll buy like a metal compound bow. I'll spray paint it gold. You know, it cost me like $100. And then I'll go to them, and if they haven't, you know, tried to kill me, I think, you know, we'll come to a standstill where they just observe me. And then I will motion that I want to exchange my fancy shiny bow to their primitive wooden poo-poo bow. And then I can sell that at auction for quite a bit. And then one day I'll be with my family in the future, and they'll go, oh, Daddy, we have this big house and this $1 billion. How do we become so rich? And I go, you know what? I took advantage of natives. And, you know, I'll be proud of
it. So, you know, whoever you give that compound bow to is going to be king of that island forever, right?
You know, I might just get two. I'll keep one for myself for the Lord Mars Museum. I own some very silly things in my personal collection, some I can't legally disclose, but it'll be worth a ton to the right people. And I want this compound bow for myself. I can just sell it at auction. The thing is, at that point, looks like I'm wanted globally if I do that. I don't think I'll be extradited to India, but maybe my home country, or maybe the EU or North America, will make me serve prison time in a Western country, because the outrage from India would be huge. So I'll have to go to Argentina, like my great German grandfather did after the war. You know, great mustache, that guy.
Yeah, listen, I've heard that they have a rogue element of Germans that run around Argentina. They don't know how they got there.
Yeah, I don't know either, but
you know, the guy never died, right? Like he just like lived the rest of his days there and then died. Like he didn't die. Suicide's bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. The Soviets analyzed the skull. It was a woman's skull. I think the Soviets are unreliable with their record keeping. It was just propaganda to say we got Hitler's body. If I was Hitler, which to be honest, we share the same mindset in some regards, I would be like, yo, I'm not going to be killed by my enemy. I'm certainly not going to commit suicide. Get me to Argentina. If my lower ranking troops and government members have made their way to Argentina, I don't see why I can't. Like, I'll just shave mustache, change up a hairstyle, wear some different colored contacts, maybe dye my hair blonde, call myself like Fred or something, and just party until the West collapses. Then I come back.
Nah, listen, I think we helped him out there. I think we might have made a deal.
Honestly,
that was a known thing. He was down there. Just nobody from the public was informed. I think this was revealed because Argentina had like an info drop. They were like, "Hey,
yes,
I see the CIA and all these interesting intelligence organizations are releasing stuff in the U.S. We should do the same." And then they drop that, and it turns out Hitler never died. Like, holy shit.
The media just doesn't want to speak about it, which is very interesting too, very telling.
I mean, what do you do? Do you like go on TV and say, hey, by the way, 30, 40 years of like, government education. Yeah, all that stuff we told you guys? Yeah, it's all bullshit. Sorry. How bad?
Real. Well,
I think we made a deal for Warner von Braun and them. I think we made some kind of deal and let him ease out the back door.
A lot of his family still lives in New York today, like his kids and grandkids.
Lord,
any single women in the family?
No.
Probably a little bit past their prime.
Honestly, well, if they're having kids, if I have like Osama bin Laden car money and North Central Island bow and arrow money, institutional wealth, that's how you really create wealth, not building silly car companies and rockets or whatever. Real money is made by looting natives and stealing money from the third world, like I do. I think
just ask Microsoft. They profit off of it every day.
Exactly. I mean, look at Bill Gates, a fat fuck. He's got man tits. What a fucking cook. But honestly, yeah, if I can marry into the Hitler family, I think real recognize real.
I think like even if you're wanted on the rest of the planet, this is where the Haiti plan comes into play. Like you just have that and you build your thing. You build like a gigantic pyramid or some shit, or like a cathedral on top of a hill, and just like that's your museum. Like that's the future end state of like Lord Miles.
I have to say though, the host has told me to refrain about talking about invading Haiti. But if you guys want to listen to the previous space, the one before the last one, it's very entertaining.
Let me just say this. We're all overridden in here by timeless Martian, so whatever he wants to talk about, we're down.
Yeah, everyone's up for that. Everyone put 100.
Whatever he says. Whatever he says. I'm telling you.
I just have a question for you.
I want to hear it from the host. He's doing laughing emoji. I don't want to go behind your back, my man. I'm not one for breaking rules, as you can tell.
No, you're fine. You're fine, buddy. Trust me. You're fine.
Sounds good.
If whatever time you want to talk about, go ahead.
His friends speak for him. It's democracy.
Hitler's
great. So I don't believe in democracy, but I'll run with it. So it turns out, guys, from my independent intelligence gathering that you can't see, Haiti has weapons of mass destruction, guys, and also they hate freedom. Whoa! So we need to invade. Very few know this.
Do they have any oil?
They actually do. North of Tropica Island is a decent amount of oil. So true, yes. And also there's extremists there. But honestly,
America, did you hear that? You need to spread democracy to Haiti immediately.
That's right. And we need to spread LGBT rights and women's rights, and we need to open Israeli embassy as well for some reason. And we must introduce soy to the natives and give them all addicted to TikTok and Instagram Reels.
Let me ask you this. I mean, what do you think the chances are that we're actually backdoor funding the unrest there now? Because we are going to take it. We have plans to take it.
We have plans to take it, and I have some people who have committed funding to taking Haiti. So I'll tell you who's actually funding the Haitian gangs. It's actually the only billionaire who is in Haiti a Jewish Israeli man who's also half Haitian, and apparently he's funding the drug epidemic, the drug trade. He's made a lot of money off that. He's funding each gang to fight against each other, and in order for him to get favorable rates with each gang, so he's playing every party against one another. I'm kind of curious how he does that. But of course, his religion and nationality have nothing in common with what he's doing anyway.
Yeah, the Rothschilds did it in World War II.
Whoa, that's anti-Semitic, my man. You can't say that. Whoa, that's terrible, dude. I love Israel so much. Don't ask me why. I'm not receiving money off Israel. No funding whatsoever. Don't check my bank accounts. But I love them. We need to send them trillion billion missiles, as said in the Bible. You know, that's what it says. They're our greatest ally. What have they done for us? No one knows, but somehow they're our greatest ally. Don't look into APAC funding. Anyway, I'll get off the topic. But okay, Haiti is a lawless land. There's no government in control. The government in exile spent whatever money they had to get the Kenyans to try and invade and take back the capital, and failed miserably. It was pretty funny. I was actually watching it from behind the scenes. Had a contact. And ever since then, I thought, Haiti is a beautiful tropical island. The only problem is for Haitians. I don't know a single Haitian who's contributed anything to humanity. We've heard about the cats and the dogs being eaten in the US, and the Trump administration basically said, hey, yeah, maybe importing 1 million Haitians isn't going to make our GDP go higher and not going to create a high trust society. So let's deport them.
Where I live, we have a problem with Haitians right now too. The gangs have started moving in on the territory of the cartels. They're fighting with the Mexican drug cartels.
Oh yeah.
Yes. There was a whole thing about a year ago about a woman going to Mexico to get a BBL, and the two dudes she went with, it was either 2 or 3, they all got murdered by the cartel because the cartel thought they were Haitians. They just so happened to have had business connections to these Haitian drug gangs and Haitian tattoos, but they weren't related at all, and so it was a scandal.
You know what?
So it's literally Aliens versus Predator. Amazing.
Honestly, let them fight. But truthfully, you look around Haiti, every other island in the area is a tropical paradise. The Dominican Republic, highly developed, great tourism spots, some natural resources. Same with the British Virgin Islands, and so on and so on. So my sole and exclusive mission in this life for the last 10 minutes has been to take Haiti. I would say start with an island. You would take an island, you would create a stronghold. A lot of the islands aren't occupied by the gangs because the gangs are fighting over territory in the capital, and they haven't cared about the outer rim. The other thing is too, Haiti has the largest reserves of iridium and a large deposit of gold worth, I think it was $200 billion, and which is quite near some of the islands of interest that I have. So if you take an island and then take some of the mainland, which is very durable, the islands are sparsely populated, no real infrastructure, they're living on $1 a day. If you come in, help them out a little bit, deport their criminals back to the mainland, secure the perimeter, something the US could do in an hour if Trump greenlighted it, but I'm going the private venture capital route. You can just take Haiti, create a Singapore of the area, a nice little micronation with preferable economic incentives. I would honestly look at the US Constitution, and I would figure out, what the current criticisms are and flaws in misinterpretation. For example, apparently you can't have machine guns for some reason, even though the Constitution clearly says you can. I'm not American, but I get it. You don't want. Yeah, it's fucking retarded. The dipshits in governments who are anti-guns, they should be shot themselves. What are they going to do? Pull out their own gun? They clearly don't have one. That's not good for my visa. Never mind. But you can easily take Haiti. There's a lot of incentives to take Haiti. You can get the exclusive economic rights to the waters around your island, which coincidentally would also have a lot of oil. The tourism industry will boom as well. The locals can be slowly deported back to the mainland as you can take over. And I've been contacting a lot of aid workers on the ground and a lot of businesses currently in Haiti that are still somewhat operating. And the situation is dire. These people get murdered, raped, eaten daily. It's terrible what's happening. And to be honest, I'm not the greatest moral compass out there, as you guys can tell. But something tells me I'm a little bit better than people who eat babies. So I feel like these people, after 200 years, are not capable of creating a civilization. Be a mixture of the two.
I mean, they don't eat babies. That's just not true. So.
I don't know. They've seen reports of people eating children due to starvation, and there's reports online about it. And at the same time, there's reports on the ground of it happening. There's obviously no footage of it. I don't think anyone's going to be filming it for TikTok. But yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I know people from Haiti, and I think that's something they would have mentioned, to be honest.
Hamilton, the guy from Vice who does the drug show, did a thing on their voodoo zombies that they have, where they just get people really high and keep them as pets.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen either.
I heard about some reports that some children that were taken to the U.S. disappeared on the way, or they would disappear in other places. I don't know if it's true, though.
Honestly, we can all agree, though, no matter the severity, that the Haitians are, one, retarded, and two, comically evil. Again, obviously, there's some good cookies, but who really cares when the whole country is vastly controlled by the bad people? I don't see why we can't just take more land. Like, the US wanted to invade Canada, Greenland, maybe even the UK. I'm actually all for it. I think it's a genius idea. I'm surprised they haven't done it already. But I don't see why we can't take a small Haitian island and slowly take over. So what I'm going to do in a few months is I've gotten some promised funding. We're putting together a pitch deck and some economic plans, and we've got quite a few people interested who can fund it. I'm going to do an expedition to Haiti with a few security guys, and basically document what the situation on the ground is. Areas that people haven't visited for 10 years or filmed for 10 years.
Well, I think an information expedition would be a good first step, right?
Yeah, I think it'd be good. If they say no, actually, we kind of like it. Things are fine here. I'm gonna back off. I'll listen to the locals. But something tells me they're gonna say, hey, living on $1 a day eating mud cakes is kind of not optimum.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to the Dominican recently, and the Dominican is third world, as I ever want to be, and that's the good side of that island. So I can only imagine.
Exactly. Like
Lord Miles.
Yes, my man.
Yeah, just one thing. In all your mining operations, it would be good that you get onto this technology, XRF, X-ray fluorescence, because there's a lot of elements that come out of the mining process of gold that you can use, all of them. So this XRF, what it does is it identifies everything that you have coming out of the mine, and you can sell all the other elements too.
Yes, because I believe other elements like copper, and there's some materials that are always attached to gold, especially in certain types of different types of placements. So it would be advantageous. Otherwise, you're just throwing away free resources. The only issue is in Afghanistan, the infrastructure just isn't there for processing, certain types of ore. So there's a lot of iron in Afghanistan, but there's no processing plants in country. So you'd have to send it to Iran or Pakistan. Well, you can't do Iran because of sanctions, so you'd send it to Pakistan. But then you would have to send it on a physical truck. There's no trains. The British built them, but 200 years ago, but apparently it wasn't appreciated. And then basically, if you send it to Pakistan, you have to pay a bribe, and then you get held at the border for ages. You have to pay fuel costs. It becomes uneconomical. And Pakistan has its own sources, so it would have high tariffs. And Afghanistan doesn't have a seaport. It's a landlocked country, so it's kind of tough unless we do domestic manufacturing. But no one wants to invest in that infrastructure to open, iron manufacturing facility.
Doesn't Afghanistan share a small part of its border with China?
Yes, with the Wakhan corridor, I believe it's 16 miles across. So I went there recently. They're building a road across there now, And through the Belt and Road Initiative, the Chinese are looking to build a bunch of trains. I think they've already built like a few miles worth already, and the Afghans are very happy. They're all clapping, but like, wow. So it seems like Afghanistan's been colonized by China, and it seems like we invested, but was it $3 trillion? Invested $3 trillion into Afghanistan, and then we got nothing out of it. And then China just gobbled up all the resources, and they're making money, year one. So kind of annoying.
So since you have some contacts in the Taliban, do you know anything about the alleged $40 million a week that was going to them?
Yeah, basically. So it would go to aid workers, which would then go to the Taliban. And there's certain institutions that are set up that would still happen. So yeah, it's I think if the number is actually less, the Taliban are saying we won't receive that huge amount, because some was actually generally going to normal Afghans who were entitled to it, and also just normal aid workers. But a decent amount was going to the Taliban. But the Taliban don't make that much money off the US. For example, Qatar recently got a bunch of rich people, flew to Afghanistan and say, hey, we want to go bird hunting. We want to find exotic birds and hunt them and then take them home as pets. We'll pay you $60 million for this, to have all access. And yeah, the Taliban government accepted. So the 40 million is chump change, really.
So I have a question then. Do you have they ever been able to manage to fly any of the equipment?
What type? Yeah. So most of the what type of equipment are we speaking about though?
He's talking about the stuff that we left, the Black Hawks,
yeah. So yeah, they can fly. They can fly Black Hawks. Most of the damage. So when the US left, they disabled some of the vehicles, but it was very easy to get them up and running again. There was actually some Americans who betrayed their country, went back to Afghanistan, and the Taliban paid them. They were mechanics in order to fix the vehicles and the Tomahawks, basically. But the Taliban, they didn't have the best pilots, so there were a few videos of crashes that happened, which are comically tragic. I did let out a laugh, to be fair. But they've sorted out the whole fleet now. And at the same time, they're actually trying to build helicopters from scratch. So I've seen some of the videos of that. They're not too far along, but give it 10 years, you never know. There's some smart fellas here. And what else?
So they're able to basically use all the military equipment we left behind now.
Yeah. Like, for example, just after the fall of Kabul, I went to the city of Jalalabad. I call it Jalalabad. I like the place. And I came across like a big crate of night vision goggles, and I Googled the model number. I can't remember now. But they sell on like the secondhand market in the US for like $25,000, $30,000. And this was in 2022. And I was like, damn, maybe I should export it. And I spoke to someone. Turns out ITAR's a thing. That's silly. And so I couldn't. But I was thinking about it anyway, because I'm sure the US government would appreciate it, or at least permit it. I can make a healthy profit off it. Each night vision goggle was $300, by the way. So it's 100 extra money. This is what you should really invest in, not indexes or crypto. Night vision goggles in Afghanistan. When I came back like a week later, the seller told me some Chinaman had bought it.
Well, so like if you're buying this equipment off the Taliban, you're essentially supporting the Taliban though. So like, isn't there, right?
No, it was just off some random street vendor who's not Taliban.
So just random street vendors now have military grade equipment that's worth $30,000.
Yeah, I think either the Chinese bought up a lot of it, or now it's been taken back by the Taliban. But listen, my most recent post, the Taliban gave me like some night vision goggles as like a joke, and I took a photo of it. Like I know the Taliban, they're using Chat GDP right now to like ask questions. They literally, the head of foreign intelligence said, I ran your name through the AI and it came back with nothing. And I was like, maybe, I don't know. Which is quite funny. The Taliban are also like addicted to TikTok as well. They're doom scrolling, they're like Googling Western things.
They found porn.
Yes, they're highly addicted to porn, especially the younger ones. It's obviously illegal and frowned upon. My time in Taliban prison, I've spoken to an Iranian prisoner, and he basically said, hey, these guys are like fucking gooning porn addicts, right? And I was like, oh, I understand a little Pashto. They were like, yeah, I understand it perfectly. And he said, if you if you mention like a Western porn name, they'll understand it. So I went up to some Taliban guards and I said, "Hey, Mia Khalifa," and they started giggling like little schoolgirls. So it turns out, when you don't see women for like 20, 25 years of your life, you kind of get curious, and the internet has opened up a can of worms. But then I heard a story about one of the Taliban, like, having porn on his phone. During a phone inspection, every month the Taliban inspect their lower ranks phones. They found the porn and the guy was like lashed, basically, which is kind of based. So epic. What else too? Oh yeah, so there was this one guy. He would go around every single prison, and he would basically go to every prisoner and go, "What's your need? Do you need soap? Do you need new clothes? Like what can I give to you?" And he would come to me, and the first few weeks I would say nothing, and he was amazed by this. It was total stupefaction, because every other prisoner was yelling at him, "I need this, I want that, give me the world," and I would be like, "No, I'm good." And he thought the white guy would be entitled, but I was like, "No, I've got everything I need," and he found it funny. And then after a few months, I finally asked for something. And when I asked for something, they knew I needed it because I did ask. They took it seriously. But occasionally he would let me go on his phone to use Google Translate or like look up news about myself, and we would have a good laugh. But every time I went on his phone on the Google search history, it'll be like porn terms. And then one time when I was at a meeting with a high-ranking Taliban, I saw him scrolling on TikTok in the corner. And he was in the corner, but above him was a window. I could see the reflection of his screen in the window. And he was looking at big black girls on TikTok. Like his whole feed was like big black girls in booty shorts, like shaking their ass. Like in Afghanistan, liking fat chicks is like really common because it shows that you can afford food. So it's attractive there. It's like very primal.
Like America in the 1700s.
Logic.
I think we should.
Yeah, it's literal seal logic. Yeah.
I think we should sanction fat people, but here I am. Never mind. But anyway, the other time was one time the head of foreign intelligence was in a big meeting with me, and he couldn't understand my accent. I'm English. Forgive me. So he called over to this guy and said, "Hey, hand over your phone. Let me use Google Translate." And he was sweating bullets. He looked super nervous. No poker face whatsoever. So I pick up his phone, and he's on X videos. Like straight up his tab. In the meeting, he had it open. Like I saw the activity log. This nigga was watching porn in the Taliban meeting. And yeah, I gave him a sus look, like raised one eyebrow. He looked nervous once again. And then I just said, "Mushkin nishtu," means no problem, Pashto. I just closed the tab. When I had a word with him afterwards, I was like, "Hey bro, we don't believe in the same God, but something tells me you're not going to heaven if you're watching big fat black women shake their booty." You know what I mean? Like, It's not in the Quran explicitly, I imagine, but I think it's wrong. Like maybe get some bitches. You have up to 4 wives, you don't even have one. Kind of tragic.
Well, you raise an interesting point, and it's great to hear your voice again, Chummer. And I hear you describe the infrastructure there of like the app-based obsession. It seems that you're describing, and I also remember you're talking about your plans in the Caribbean. And you'd mentioned the gambling hubs, and I was just thinking and wondered if you thought about introducing like cryptocurrency and gambling to either one of these places, and if you describe those plans.
I tried. So I looked into creating a lottery for the Afghans. I was like, "Hey, how about you create a lottery, limit it to 2 entries per person, charge like $1, people will afford it, 1 entry a month, highly publicized. Half the money goes towards some charity or some government work, then the other half goes to some payouts. Everyone's happy, everyone wins, but they're very fundamentalist. They wouldn't like this idea. And casinos, they just wouldn't like in general. They just don't get the concept. I've spoken to them about crypto. The issue is it's illegal here because it's used to finance terrorism, or at least was when ISIS was still a thing in Afghanistan.
Indeed.
Yeah, so they're kind of cautious about it. They can't control it. They have no idea what it's going to be used for. They think it's Pandora's box. I know some guys who do trade in crypto. So the Taliban are addicted to this video game called PUBG. So they play it on their phones. It's like a war game. It's like a Fortnite, but more realistic. And in order to get in-game items and skins, you have to pay with a credit card. But of course, they're not on the Swift banking network, and they don't have banking infrastructure. So they go to one guy that I know in Kabul, and they give him like a few bucks, and then he converts it to crypto or whatever, or he receives crypto, and he can use his card because he's a dual citizen. He's like also a Dubai resident, so he's like a big dealer. And he's become rich off it. He's making like $8,000 a month, and in Afghanistan that's big money. Pretty cool guy.
I imagine. Does anyone ever bring him like livestock, or is it purely cash for transfer?
It's just cash. So we have this network. I forgot the name of it. I think it's called the Mawali network or whatever. But if you just give someone cash in Afghanistan, to a vendor, it will appear to another vendor immediately. So you can just send money with like 0.5% fee with no real infrastructure. So it's just people dotted around in every village, every city of around the world, where if you give them money, they can receive it in any other country. So, for example, when there's this one guy in Afghanistan, he runs for Christian cemetery. So there's a cemetery full of like soldiers that never made it back home, mostly Christians from Britain, South Africa, France, America, and so on, who are buried there from hundreds of years ago to the present day. And the carekeeper makes $200 a month, and that's to maintain himself and also to maintain the entire cemetery. And of course, accidents happen, gravestones break from age. The grass needs to be mowed, the walls need to be kept up. So obviously he's broke. So I raised a bunch of money for him through Give Send Go, but I didn't have a way to send him money. I couldn't figure it out. So I got told by him, hey, just give it to this guy in Birmingham, England, and I'll receive it instantly. And of course he knew someone in Birmingham, and he just received the money instantly.
Ironic.
Yeah, 0.5% fee.
Did they kill you?
Kill me? What? Yeah, bro, I'm dead.
It's the pause. Yeah, somebody got like that little red dot that was moving. Oh.
It's a podcast. It's how many people are here? It's not like Moles is schizo around. Why are you my therapist? Like, come on. You guys gotta tell your stories too. Like again, it feels like
this is too interesting.
You can tell, but I have my limits.
I have a good story about the porn in Iraq.
Yeah, tell me about the porn in Iraq, my man.
So like every time you go to like a merchant shop, like you go get your internet, you'd like knock on the guy's chew, and then you'd open up the door and you'd just have porn on his thing. Then you'd like give him $30, and he'd try to shake your hand, you didn't really want to. And then you also had like you'd go up to like the falafel shop, you knock on his chew, and you come out, the guy had porn on his hand or porn on his computer, and then he like didn't wash his hand, and he was trying to like fix you a falafel, and you're like, I think I'm good right now, So yeah, that's definitely present in like war zones where they just like give people internet. It's just right to porn.
If I have to be honest, guys, there's a reason why they're all addicted to porn, especially the non-white folk. I think it's due to years of inbreeding, because they all marry their cousins, and I'd say 80% of the time it's fine, but 20% of the time the genes get damaged. I'm not a geneticist, but I can recognize that inbreeding makes you retarded, and then that's why the IQ has dropped significantly. It's why the Islamic world used to be rather smart back in the 1500s, 1400s, whatever. You had some scholars, you had some mathematicians, and now they're watching like porn and having sex with goats sometimes.
Humping goats.
And one of the consequences of inbreeding is low impulse control. So it's why a lot of men rape in Europe. They just can't help themselves, and it's why I support head coverings in Afghanistan, because it literally is what's needed for these people to maintain their own control. It's to protect themselves, truthfully. I understand if I see a woman with their hair out, I don't immediately go rape mode. I've never gone rape mode. I don't rape, but some of these people in Europe, they'll just lose it. They'll just have their mouth out, eyes bulging, and go, and they'll just go for it. One of the Taliban asked me once in prison. It was low ranking, but it was like, Miles, these women in Europe, they show their hair and they show their shoulder and their leg. How do you not help yourself? And I kind of sit for a minute, kind of cackling to myself, like these fucking retards. But I'm laughing to myself, and then I say, you see this delicious food in front of us? And they're like, yes. And I go, well, I can choose to pick it up and eat it. And I'm motioning. I can choose to pick up and eat it. And they're like, yes. Or I can choose not to, as God gives us that control. And they go, oh, like it's some sort of fucking revelation to them that you can choose not to rape. Fucking genius, am I right?
Oh my gosh.
Just going back to the goats, I want to mention that wherever there are goats, there appear to also be men who will fuck those goats. I don't know why, but I have not found anywhere with goats that does not have stories about goat fuckers. It just appears to be a thing that is inescapable for goats for some fucking reason.
You know what? Everyone in this call is the goat. Like, you know, just like saying.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. But honestly, yeah, these guys, you know, imagine you're poor, you can't afford to pay the dowry, which is like the down payment for a wife, because it becomes transactional. Like, oh, can you fund this lifestyle? And so you're dirt poor. You have like you have ugly trades. You have nothing going for you, and you've never seen a woman, and you know your hormones are going crazy, and you're obviously retarded. You see a goat, you see they're like shaking asses in the back, and you heard about sex, and you go, you know what, fuck it, and you fuck a goat. And then imagine like then that goat is killed and served to you. So you're like, wow, this goat that we just ate is a little bit saltier than before. Why is that? And you go, I don't know. And yeah, kind of awkward. If you guys ever been on 4chan, you've seen what some fucking horny retards do sometimes. Like I've seen stories of people fucking watermelons by cutting a hole in it, jizzing in the watermelon, and then the family eats the watermelon, and the guy like obviously can't say, hey, don't eat the watermelon, because it's just a bit awkward. So that's some stories. I guarantee shit like that happens across the world, but probably more in some societies than others. I know it's an uncomfortable topic, but you know, truth nuke, it happens, unfortunately. But personally, you know, I don't want to fuck goats. I might speak for everyone.
Yeah, I prefer my water. I prefer my watermelon unfucked too. So.
Yeah, I've never looked at a watermelon or a goat and went, man, I want to fuck that. It's just never happened.
Fun slice of irony here. I used to actually take care of goats as a kid. Like I had a ton of them. Ironically enough, there was one male goat. We only had one male goat in the entire herd, and that motherfucker was a bitch. He was stubborn as shit. I have no idea what the fuck is wrong with these gooners, but like goats are the gooners of like this specific mammalian like the thing, because for some reason the male goat. I've seen every male goat do this. They piss on the ground. They then put their mouth on that piss, then arch up their neck and go, "Ugh." I'm like, what the fuck is that? Dude, the amount of times that I had to wrestle this motherfucker was insane. So imagine, like, you have a little fucking, 15-year-old kid trying to wrestle this big fucking thing with horns. Nice. They have grip strength, man. 4 legs is better than 2, not gonna lie. It's crazy.
Wait,
it's a good thing that I have a 3rd leg, but not on 4 yet.
Wait, you're saying goats are grippy? Damn.
Yes. Yes. That's the only grip that I'm aware of that they have. Any other grip is outside of my the axioms of my knowledge base, and I do not seek to expand those axioms in that direction.
Goats lean.
Okay. Goats will also fucking chew on anything.
Yes,
you look away for 1
they will
second
destroy it. They will destroy any nature that you put them in. There's like a thing in I think it is Australia. Yeah, it is in Australia. You can rent goats. So what you can do is you can like rent goats to like destroy your like natural environment. If you have like some brambles or some shit you want to get rid of, and it's fucking brambles, you don't want to go do that yourself. Instead, you hire a small goat army, send them in there, and they will tear the whole fucking thing apart. There will be not a single green leaf left on the brambles. They will destroy everything. And if you so happen to have small seedlings, well, you can kiss those goodbye too, because they will chew the bark off of them. They're crazy. They're absolutely fucking crazy.
Billy goats and roosters, man. Billy goats and roosters.
Yeah. Oh yeah, chickens, they get fucked too, but not on. I don't think it's in the rates as high as goats, to be honest. We've all seen that video.
Yeah.
Look, we've all seen that video. If you've been on the internet at a specific period of time, you've seen the chicken fucker. It's horrifying. It's bad. You're not proud of it, but you have seen it.
Hey, my friend wasn't meant to leak me doing that, honestly. I'm not proud of it, but whatever. But honestly, I don't understand people's I don't understand why people have sex with animals. Like, I don't get the mentality of it. Again, even if you're down bad, you don't look at like a goat's ass and then think, yeah, or like a chicken and think, yeah.
Well, they can't
I
say
don't know.
no.
Let's be
Chat
real,
ban
like,
might.
I
Well,
mean,
animals can.
yeah.
the
I guess it's like,
crackhead south of America is quite interesting. They have the genders reversed on that front, and there's like dogs that are fucking the women more than the husbands are. There's like some dogs out there that have higher body counts of fucking women than men do.
What does that say for the women?
I don't fucking know, man.
they call me the dog.
I'm sorry. I'm not the guy who like put feminism out there. It's not my fault.
Feminism is a trap.
I always try
Well,
to
can
tell
I
everybody.
shorten your name to Nazi?
I always try to tell everybody who controls the worm controls the universe.
Oh, don't start that, Renaud.
It's fucking Christ.
He's about to start talking about edging. Stop it.
We call it gooning now. We call it gooning now. Chief Goon Officer.
I feel like this conversation is going to be used in evidence against us one day.
Perhaps,
definitely
perhaps.
recorded
It's going to come
and
up with like
blast
some
us here,
CIA is
so-
going to like pull this out the files. Like this is where we saw like so. There's like this one time where some parts of the strategy for like the invasion of Haiti were discussed, and it's like a call with a bunch of dudes, including this one guy who's like taking over American politics for 15 minutes for no fucking reason at all, other than everybody else melting down. It's like here they were chatting about fucking goats. It's like really
Yeah,
okay.
we're gonna be like the last episode of Seinfeld.
If you like took this
They're
to
gonna
an
be like-
intelligence agency, then they're just simply going to look at you and go like, I don't even believe this. Because who the fuck does
They're gonna-
that? I
They
don't know.
must come across some fucked up stuff.
Hmm?
Intelligence agencies must come across some really fucked up stuff, I imagine.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, if you even if you
Like
know
being
like
that-
people in moderation on various like social media platforms, like people who work in safety, specifically like child safety, there's a lot of stuff on social media platforms that you can't imagine. Like it's all there, and there's like patterns
Yeah.
to it as well. And I've had a deep look into that as well. I recognize all the patterns, and it disturbs me every day because I can see them.
We were talking about in here the guys that are having to watch the Epstein files, right? The Epstein tapes, because they're there. Those poor guys, man.
Yeah, doing evidence for that. Fuck, man.
That's like PTSD recipe. I can't even imagine.
Can you just imagine, like, you just get dragged into an interrogation room and you're like, Champion, what'd you do to that watermelon?
Jesus Christ.
I think we should kill all pedophiles. I don't understand why we have life sentences in the UK. At least in the US, you guys actually like execute people, but it doesn't happen fast enough. I
No,
honestly
it doesn't.
think child rapists, pedophiles in
I
general.
mean, they do have the death penalty, but I feel
No.
like for as much as criminals are criminals, there's like a specific nature to some criminals that they will look at somebody like that who's a pedophile, and this is the reason, like, by the way, why these people are protected, right? If you like put them into jail, they like make sure that nobody figures out that that guy's a pedophile, because the moment that somebody does figure out that there's a pedophile in jail, they'll identify him and then come up with an elaborate plan to kill him in the most violent and painful manner possible. So, ironically enough, you'd have some of the worst, people that have caused a lot of damage to society are actually doing what I would say is objectively a good thing in that level.
Actually, I want to add on to that point. They're actually have so much protection in prisons now that they actually separate them now, so that doesn't happen as much.
Because they learned that if we put the pedophiles in with all the other people, those people get killed.
I'll
Yeah,
keep it real.
absolutely.
I'll
You
keep
gotta
it
check the
real.
paperwork.
I think we should go North Korean style and just execute them in a public square, like the most painful way possible.
I'm in
You're
with
like
that.
British
On
Empire
pedophiles,
Max,
Twitch
yeah.
streaming,
I'm in.
donations like chat. Should we use the baller 5,000? $100 goal. We can execute them.
The anal umbrella, like from The Dictator, the movie The Dictator.
Yes.
Yes.
That was good.
Like,
It's like
here,
you don't want to be
$50,
tortured.
$50, going once, going twice. Okay, there we go. We have 5,000 in the bank. Up it goes.
Very good.
Yeah, I like that idea. Pedophiles are not rehabilitatable. They're just not. If you're a pedophile, you're a pedophile, and you need to die.
Real.
Like, I think
You know what?
I think people fucking animals is not anywhere near as bad as the people who like legitimately have some ideation towards gooning to kids. Like, that's so fucked up. Like, that is beyond repair.
Fucking animals is bad, but having sex with Haitians is technically legal. So I don't know.
There's also on that same topic. There's also a reason why a lot of people who work in the very specific parts of the morgue that deals with the processing of bodies is like mostly female when they're processing certain bodies.
I had an ex Polish girl, really cute, worked out great. She had like a rape fetish, and she was a little bit messed up in the head. Turns out she wanted to work in a morgue. She was obsessed with like bodies and like dissections and preserving people. It's very strange. Turns out her dad raped her as a child, and now I found out she's a lesbian. She was a lovely person, but people get really fucked up really easily.
Yeah,
not TMI.
Totally killed the relationship.
Sorry?
I said it totally killed the relationship.
Honestly, no, it was going quite well. It was just I went to university in the middle of England, and she went in Wales, and we couldn't maintain long distance, and she was a little bit fucked up in the head from her family situation. Some unresolved issues.
Yeah, and that's another thing we don't talk about these pedophiles. These pedophiles, they screw up every kid they touch, man. If we just execute them on the first one, they never get a chance to screw up another one, man. And I'm so in.
Exactly, it's how homosexuals reproduce. They molest kids. The rates are insane for homosexuals, and then that messes them up, and then those people become homosexuals themselves, or they can't have healthy relationships because they've got past trauma that's turned into some kink or something.
Yeah, kinks have been on the rise for like many different reasons, and it's a very multifaceted issue. But one of the reasons is that everybody's just completely fucked from all corners, including this. Like, I mean, imagine that you're a kid and you see a fucking drag, like a drag show. What the hell, man? That is fucked up.
Imagine you're a kid and you see a curvy goat. Damn. Everyone's seen that 4chan post, right? Where it's like, be me, early 90s. I got told I want to fuck a toaster. Tell people I want to fuck a toaster. People call me retarded. I don't fuck toasters, right? I grow up. But now, growing up in the 2000s, 2010s,
we have the internet. Find a whole bunch of other people who want to fuck toasters. You join the toaster fucking community and you fuck up your life. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. That's basically what trannies, homosexuals, all these people deform their bodies, all these retards out there have done. I understand we may have some people in there that might humbly disagree. I want to say fuck you. I'm unapologetic about that. I believe these people are comically evil. And, on my Haitian island, we're going to be very Catholic, to put it lightly. And not molesting children in a church part. I mean, complete opposite. Where it won't be allowed. I think in society this is a cancer, and once it kind of manifests to a certain point, it's really difficult to get away from it and to eliminate it without killing civilians, which, to be honest, sometimes I'm slightly pro of. But if I establish a nation like Haiti, I will absolutely stomp out a lot of stuff.
Speaking of, what's going to be the official religion of the island?
Catholicism, Christianity in general, but focus on the Catholic.
I think that orthodoxy makes a little bit more sense. It's more original, and like speaking from experience, from like what it's like Catholics usually do. It's like you probably want to err more towards the Orthodox than the Catholic a little bit.
Well, Elon is being funded by the Orthodox people now. Now we understand the connection.
Jesus Christ, man. I'm not an adherent of a religion myself. I simply like follow any path that like leads to the light. I'm different like that. That's why I read all the scriptures.
That's based. Okay. I would say, regardless though, I'm not going to have an Israeli embassy on my island either, and I'm not going to accept funding from Islamic states either. The Mormons they're lovely people, I'm sure. I've had good interactions, but their religion's just comically wrong. So they could fuck off. And, Orthodoxy, I admit it. I think they're still good people. I like what they do.
How about the Baptist?
The Baptist?
Yeah.
Who, sorry? Oh, yeah, I know some bad people. But I think Bronze Age pervert is like, he's got this profile picture of some bodybuilder. I mean, his real life photo got leaked. And it's like some fucking swarthy 35-year-old with like no muscle. His philosophy is good, but you pretend to be something else there, and it kind of kills the ideology. and I think they have a weird homosexual cult. Like if you look into some of their ex-group chats, there's stuff about like taking twink sex slaves and stuff. And you know, I'm just not into fucking men. I don't want poo-poo on my dick, to put it lightly. Like, you know, and you know, I don't want AIDS either, or anything else. So personally, that ideology, it's got some good aspects, but it's also kind of retarded. And I might as well cut out the bullshit and just go to some proper religion.
You're not still talking about Baptist, though.
I was about to say, if you guys were going to create a religion, going to create a country, what laws would you have? Ones that are out there, you know, controversial ones.
Well, you know, the First and Second Amendment have worked out really well here, so I would definitely say those two immediately.
Bro, you've already got a country named after you.
I know. Chad Ben reminds me every day.
Chad. There's a place called Chad, but it's not as Chad as it could be. And right next to that is Nigeria.
Yeah,
it ain't as Chad as me.
Chad is in there. It's real.
Do you think if you flew to Chad, went to immigration, like, you know, passport control, they would look at your name and kind of just like fist bump you or something?
They'd probably arrest me.
Yeah, true. I think in Chad they had the Toyota Wars, which was quite interesting too. But that side of the world is just comically retarded when it comes to warfare and geopolitics. Like if you go on Google Images right now, guys, if you have a spare minute, just look at the amount of roads in Chad. You have like 2 highways, and most of them aren't even paved. And the paved ones are from the British Empire.
Damn, so still, like, that's crazy.
Yeah, what have they been doing for the last like 100 years, bro? Like I've you know, look at famous people. Look at I don't know, Elon. Yeah, let's look at Elon Musk. Totally unrelated. He's done some stuff in a few years, kind of quick. You know, I'm sucking his dick here. But honestly, you know, you can do things quickly, and that's one guy. I think Chad, I don't know the population, but they at least have like a few million, probably tens of millions, and you can't name one famous Chad guy, can you?
Lord
like
Miles.
From Chad. Yeah.
Lord Miles. Is there any way I could play the national anthem to the Taliban?
I think they might get a bit pissed off.
We're not there. You are.
we can say hi to them again. Actually, let me call one on my laptop and we'll see if we can hear them. Let me mute. I'll speak to the guy beforehand. He speaks English, and I'll basically explain to him the situation. Give me 2 seconds, guys. You talk amongst yourself.
So no national anthem?
Not yet. It's still on. It's still pending, Chat Ben. We are. Listen, what a great space we've had.
We're like the post-imperial firing squad. Chat's going to be like, you know, submitted to that. It's like the post-imperial like fucking firing squad because there's no empire anymore. But the firing squad is very imperial.
I'm in.
Also, I'm gonna lie and say Elon Musk is in the space because you sound like him. Coincidence, I know, but I'm gonna tell
Jesus
the Taliban.
fucking Christ, dude!
Oh my God, it's Elon.
Dude, that would be like absolutely peak. That the Taliban tweaks out over the fact that I could be Elon. That would be insane.
Dude,
that is something. That is something. See, people need to lore max in the early days of their life so that later they can tell their kids, like, hey, I want to tell you a really interesting story. Remember that the terrorist group that's like in the history books? Yeah, there's something I want to tell you.
I caused an international incident.
It's like, that was not my fault, but it also kind of was.
Hey guys, it's kind of ringing out. I think they're having like lunch, if you listen. Oh, they're here. 1 second.
Damn.
Yeah, here we go. Chat Ben, you better play it right, son.
I hope I play it right for the Taliban.
How are you, brother? How you doing? Hey, this group call, Elon. Obviously, hey Elon, how you doing? Just say hi with your voice to show it's you.
I swear, I don't want to say another word.
Hi, Elon. How are you? Hope you're doing well.
Very good. Hey, Minia, if you want, try and invite him to Afghanistan. Just say like he's more than welcome.
Yeah, of course. Like, definitely we will invite him. He's such a cool guy, and all Afghan people love him. He's an inspiration not only for Afghan, for everyone. So that's why people love him, and we invite him. Especially myself, I will invite him, and I will take care of him. Everything he needs, I can provide from my own side. And definitely, he's most welcome for him.
Thank you. And we can give him armored cars. We can give him military personnel through Boss, right?
Yeah, of course. Anything he needs, we can provide him, like cars, like military base, anything.
Yeah, they got a lot of them down there.
Hotels,
Oh shit! Yeah, we left a lot of them.
Yeah, he don't need to worry. We can as much security he wants, we can provide for him.
Perfect. And he just wants to say hi back and say thank you. Go on, Elon.
Yeah, thank you so much, no problem. You're welcome, sir.
Hi.
He said hi. He's a bit nervous.
Hit it, chat, man.
Yeah, I can understand that. He should be.
He hung up.
No, he's ripping it. He's ripping it. He's not finished.
It's getting close.
I'm gooning to this.
I was about to say.
America.
That's
Fuck the Taliban.
I think